everybody, and welcome back to another video. So as you can see, probably you can maybe recognize from one of my previous videos, you're back in my kitchen, and that means that there's going to be another cooking video coming up for you. This time is going to be a little different, a little bit of more actual cooking, not just showing you one simple item that I have. Hello, and thank you for joining me on another one of my lifestyle series videos. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dmitry, and I'm an American expat living in the Philippines. Here, I'm going to share with you how my life is going living in Metro Manila. If you find this video entertaining, please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And now, sit back, relax, and enjoy as I take you on a journey of my daily life as a time-lapse traveler.
That's one of the things that you will only find in the Philippines.
So today you get to see me make a nice dinner for Chris and I. It's going to be stir-fried eggplant and my very special ultra supreme salad that I've been making it for a while, and today I get to show you how I actually make it. And of course we're going to have rice as a side dish. That pretty much goes without saying. Typically, you know, most Filipinos, they just eat rice with chicken or rice with pork or rice with beef or rice with shrimp or rice with fish, and that's pretty much about it. You know, sometimes you might get some steamed vegetables mixed in there. Generally, when it comes to actual fresh vegetables, the Filipino menu unfortunately is very light on that. So during the pandemic, we're trying to keep ourselves fit and in good shape, so we're trying to also eat healthy. And one of the best ways is to consume fresh vegetables. And this here is what I make basically on a regular basis, so I already have had a little bit of experience with that. One of my key ingredients is the beets. So this I got from restaurants. I'm sure many of my viewers have seen me go to restaurants before, since I made some videos in there. But yeah, I just got this actually earlier today, and this is the ingredient that I have to start with first, because unlike the rest of the ingredients, this one actually has to be cooked, because when you eat it fresh, it's not really all that good. You need to boil it first, and this one takes a long time to boil. So first thing is tear off the hairs. Seems a little brutal, but that's what you gotta do. Then I'm just gonna wash it very thoroughly in the sink. Some people like to peel it first before putting it in the pot, but that way you lose a lot of the nutrients from it, and the water looks like it turns all bloody, and I'm trying to avoid that. And I'm actually going to do the same thing for another beet, because even though I'm going to be using only one for this dish, it's definitely better to boil two of them, because the second one is going to be used pretty soon also, and this way I get to boil two for the price of one, because it does take a really long time. And wow, look how perfect this one is. It's like out of a picture book. The perfect shape and size. There, so I have these two beets all cleaned up and ready to go. I am expecting for the water to be boiling out quite rapidly. This has to be boiling for a while. In fact, it's required to be kept in the boiling water for about an hour and a half. Yes, this does take a really long time. That's why I have to also start it kind of early. While this is starting to cook, I am going to start preparing the rest of the vegetables, and let me show you what they are. And so these are the rest of my ingredients. I'm going to start off with this purple lettuce over here. Purple parts of the leaves have supposedly the most amount of nutrients, so that's why I picked those out. Got a cucumber peeled already, ready to go. And I got some bok choy, which has selenium nutrient, which is very, really healthy. Not that many vegetables have that. And then I also have 4 pieces of tomato here and 3 onions, purple onions. See, you could probably tell that I like colorful vegetables instead of just, you know, homogeneous green stuff. And so now I'm going to go ahead and start chopping these up, and then put them in a bowl, mix it all together, and we're gonna have ourselves a ready salad. Except the beets are still cooking, so we'll still have to wait for those to finish up. I don't like to have large pieces of leaves just laying in a plate. I always like to have things finely cut. Slice it into quarters. It's not really an exact science, but I do like to have them in more or less even pieces. Next is the bok choy. Now this part is a little bit more bitter, especially the stem, but with enough vinegar and salt added, it tastes quite alright. Next will be the onion, and this is always the longest part. Then the way I cut it is half this way, half this way. Luckily this onion doesn't really make it crack quite as much as most others, but it certainly still has that effect. So I'll try not to cry too much on camera. I'll try to catch each one and make it about half of what it is here. Nobody really wants to be chewing on large pieces of onion, especially if it's a fresh, uncooked onion. If it's an onion ring, that's different. But in a salad, I'd rather have small onion pieces. Yeah, I know what you guys are probably thinking. Onion breath is going to be coming this way. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Good thing I have a really good knife here, the Faberware. This Cucilio does the job really well. I'm going to cut down the tomatoes to complete the process before the beets finish boiling. Mix in some salt, some pepper, vinegar, and oil, and that'll be it. And this here is the eggplant that I'm going to be cutting up right now in order to stir fry it. I'm still not done with the tomatoes, but I don't want them to be leaking out all the juice yet. So that's why I'm going to take care of the eggplant first and start stir frying the eggplant together with the onions on the frying pan. And that's when I'm actually going to be taking care of the tomato. I'm going to cut up the eggplant, mix it with the onion that I already cut up, and then saute that together in the frying pan. And that's going to be pretty much the rest of the meal. The rice is getting warmed up in the rice cooker. I'm sure you guys don't really need me to show you how rice is made. That basically is just leftovers. I'm sure you've already seen how rice is made before, but if anybody's curious, you could definitely leave me a comment in the comment section down below if you want to see how I cook the rice, but it's really nothing that special. So anyway, now I'm going to get to the eggplant. This one I'm going to cut off very much like the cucumber. Slice off the top first, try to cut it down the middle as much as possible. It's a little rubbery. Come on, knife, don't let me down now. There we go. I broke the tip. Oh well, it's just the tip. Because of the shape, it's a little bit trickier to cut it. And now very much like the cucumber. Very fleshy, it has large pieces. They're not gonna fry as evenly. Alright, this looks more or less, give or take, even enough. Again, not an exact science, but it's alright, it's close. And now onto the frying. Alright, well this here is the frying portion of the cooking process. The beets are still simmering in here. The water keeps on boiling out, so I had to refill it several times. But it's okay, I'll let it still boil for just a little bit, because that just means that the flesh of the beets is going to be a little bit softer, which is not so bad. In the meantime, I just preheated the frying pan a little bit, and now I'm going to add some oil. That's probably a little much, but it's alright, not too bad. I'm going to need to cover the onions with the oil completely. Oh wow! It bites. I must have preheated the frying pan a little bit too much. No! Yeah, that must be it. Wow, you can see the onions already starting to get a little bit golden, and the oil has been totally soaked up. I'm keeping it on medium heat though, but the frying pan was already heated up from being on high for a little while. Oh yeah, I have to make sure it doesn't get too burnt. See, it's already getting golden brown really quick. And I didn't even put the eggplant on here yet, so I have to keep on moving it around. I think I'm going to need to add a little more oil actually. Yeah, this onion shrank already completely. Well, not completely, but it's so much smaller than what it was when I first just put it on there. Alright, it should be fine now. Now, I'm going to add the eggplant. There we go. It looks kind of dry here, so I think I'm going to add some more oil. Just a small splash. Maybe a little more. Hopefully that's not too much. No, it should be fine. Mix it all in so that there's a nice oily glaze and everything. Alright, spread everything evenly, more or less. Since it's on 3 out of 6, it shouldn't really be getting burned at this point. The temperature of the frying pan should have kind of stabilized already by now. Now I just wait a little bit, maybe give it a couple of minutes before start shaking things up a little more again. It really doesn't hurt to just stir it every now and then during the process. I mean, that's what stir frying is all about anyway. You know what, it's actually looking kind of dry there. Maybe I do need a little more oil still. You always have to just kind of use your judgment of how moist things look in there, because you don't want it to look really dry on the frying pan. That's how things get burnt a little bit though. Okay, that should be good. And now mix it all together. It's looking good. Smelling good too. See how it's shrinking? It's getting smaller and softer too, by the way. And now back over the salad side of things. We still have these tomatoes to contend with. So sideways here, sideways again. Come on now. Yeah, see, this is what I don't like, when all the juice starts to pour out. It starts getting sloppy and messy. These pieces are still a little bit too big, so I'll just cut that in half, cut this in half. This one is not as juicy, so it's easier to cut the way I want it right away. Boom, that's it. It should be fine. Yeah, this tomato definitely came from a different batch. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Ultimate classic salad. Now all I have to do is put in some salt, some pepper, vinegar, that is apple cider vinegar, and olive oil, and that'll be it. About a teaspoon of salt should do it. It's a big bowl here, as you can see. Here's my black pepper. Some nice liberal use of black pepper. I just used the grinder. Maybe a couple of tablespoons or so. Nice splash of apple cider vinegar, and more or less a similar amount of olive oil. And with such a large bowl, it's a little bit tricky to mix it in using a regular tool. So what I do is cover it up like this, then shake it like a man. Shake it like I mean it. Let's see how it looks. Boom, not bad. Maybe some more shaking. And what do we have? We have a nice shaken, not stirred salad. Maybe also give it a nice whirl with these tongs. Hopefully I can mix it in as evenly as I can get it. It looks pretty good now. There you go, looks like everything is covered in oil and vinegar. Hopefully it's also salty enough, and I see some pepper flakes floating around. That there is my salad. So let's get the rest of the food off the frying pan and onto the plates, and then let's eat. And so those of you that have been paying attention better than I have might have noticed that, hey, what happened to the beets? Well, yeah, I just took it out of the pot, and now I'm going to peel it, and now I'm going to grind it down into the salad. There it is, steaming hot. So first I have to cool it off in some cold water, because right now to peel it, it's going to be a very unpleasant experience. The cool water starts getting warm pretty much right away because this thing is hot. It's been boiling for hours. All right, hopefully this should be good now. All right, I'll start peeling it while it's still steaming over here. And because it's been boiling for such a long time, it's very, very easy to take the skin off. It just comes right off. Pretty much pull it off with your fingers. No need to use a special tool or anything. Then you could just rinse off the rest and discard the peel. Now time to do some grinding. Since it's soft, it grinds really, really easily. If the outside of it is hot, the inside is scorching. Have to be really careful with that one. Still steaming, look at that. In fact, maybe I rushed it just a little bit. Let's see what happens if I use a fork for this. The beets, by the way, are the principal main ingredients in the famed Russian soup called borscht. Some of you might have heard of it before. The red soup, and the beets is what gives it its red color. All right, well, one way or another, my camera just stopped recording in the middle of it. I don't know what happened there, but I finished grinding down the beet, and then I also mixed it into the salad. So you didn't really miss all that much. And this is what it looks like now. And so now that that's all done, it's really time to set the table, because the salad is done, the rice is all ready, and of course the eggplant with the onion is all done as well. So I'm going to set the table, get Chris down to it, and then we're going to finally eat dinner. And so here's the culmination of my labor. My full meal. My rice, my eggplant with fried onion, and my ultimate classic salad. It took me quite a while to make it, but now I get to actually enjoy it. Wow, it's been a labor of love, you could say. You know what? If I do say so myself, I think I kind of nailed it this time. It's got just the right proportion of ingredients, just the right amount of salt, maybe a little bit light in pepper, but that's a matter of preference. I just happen to like pepper a lot. And now let's try how the eggplant with the onions turned out. Really nice. I was afraid that the onions might turn out to be a little bit too fried, too burnt. No, they're perfect. Just the way I like it. So, this is going to be the conclusion of this cooking video. This was my first real cooking project that I've made, and I hope that you did enjoy it. Please leave me some comments to let me know how you feel about it and whether or not you'd like to see more of that. In the meantime, please hit like if you enjoyed this video and if you might have possibly learned something from it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification so that you will always get notified when I'm making a new video that comes out. And you'll always keep on getting more and more videos coming at you from the Time-Lapse Traveler.